for their greater good, you are willing to make that sacrifice. And if parents like you and me are not going to sacrifice, then who's going to do it, right? When we make a sacrifice and the children do well, it becomes very worth it. Where people are prioritizing their emotions over the life of their children, and I'm not able to understand how. How is that even an option? How to overcome our emotions when our children leave for abroad. For me, the kind of person I am, the way I think is, if anything is good for my child, then I never want to come between my child and his best life. And so for me, it becomes very easy to reorganize my mind that this is not about me or my emotions. I hear people say things like, then my daughter will leave after marriage, so I don't want to send her abroad to study because we'll only get that much time with her. Or, where people are prioritizing their emotions over the life of their children, and I'm not able to understand how. How is that even an option? So for me, it's all about wherever it is the best for my child is where I want him to go. What happens to me, I will cope with that. So I'd love for you to start to process the fact that look how unselfish you are in the process of, how hard it is to send away your children, and yet for their greater good, because their greater good is always your greater good. So, for their greater good, you are willing to make that sacrifice. And if parents like you and me are not going to sacrifice, then who's going to do it, right? And honestly, coming to London, looking at my children live a very complete life, looking at them organizing themselves, managing themselves, the level at which they are, doing the stuff that they are doing, I've really felt very happy from within that, it's so good to see that the sacrifice that we made is actually something that they are valuing. And they're keeping the way they're keeping the house, the way my older one is working, the way the younger one is so sincerely going to do whatever he's doing. I've come away feeling like, when we make a sacrifice and the children do well, it becomes very worth it. So I think encouraging and inspiring them is more important than how to cope with our own emotions. If they are doing well, you'll do well eventually. We are as happy as our unhappiest child. So I always pray to God ji, my life I'll look after. You just look after my children's life. You protect them. You give them whatever needs to happen, because my happiness is directly dependent on how happy they are. So see if all of this makes sense to